So hypocrisy of nifaq is a very big subject. We won't be able to go through all of it today. But we touch the branches of nifaq, hypocrisy in Islam. What is a hypocrite? A lot of kids like to say this word in school. Hey, this guy, he's a hypocrite. Huh? I know Abdullah used that word probably all the time. This guy, he's a hypocrite. No, kids like these words. All right? Say one thing and do the other. All right? But a nifaq has somewhat a different meaning in Islam, somewhat similar but different meaning. A nifaq, as question 42, what is the categories of nifaq? And so there's two categories of nifaq, hypocrisy in the belief, and hypocrisies in deeds and actions. Before I go over the meaning of these things, what is nifaq in Islam? I mean, there's different types of traits of nifaq, but it does not make a person a munafiq. We'll go over this later on. What nifaq that I want to talk about is nifaq or munafiq, the hypocrites. The hypocrite in Islam was considered the hypocrite in Islam. وَفِي ظَاهِرْ هُوَ Muslim. Dhahir means openly, which physically you see Islam. You see Islam. وَفِي بَاطِنْ هُوَ الْكَافِرُ. Inwardly, inside his heart, he is a disbeliever. But outwardly, you see a Muslim. He says, Salaam alaikum. But inside his heart and his actions, he's fighting Islam. He hates Islam. But outwardly, you think he is a Muslim. We can't say somebody's a munafiq. We can say this. A person has the traits of nifaq. But we can't say a person is a munafiq because we don't see it first. لا يستطيع أن يرى في قلوب الناس. We're not able to see in the hearts of the people. في صدورهم, in their chests. But we can see a person outwardly, what a person does. So a nifaq or munafiq, the actual hypocrite, outwardly he is Muslim, but inwardly he fights Islam. And in the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it is clear from his statements and the statements of Allah Azza wa Jalla in the Quran about the munafiq, the hypocrites. It is clear who they are during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, from what is Allah says in the Quran, and what Allah reveals to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam about who are the hypocrites in the time of the Prophet. Inwardly, they hate Islam, fight Islam, but outwardly is the Muslim. They go to the Muslim. They say the Shahada, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. But inside, they do everything to fight Islam. They don't want Islam to progress. Well, they want Islam to perish. Many of Muslims, they have a loose tongue. Hey, this guy is a munafiq. We can't say these things in Islam. Because the munafiq is not a Muslim. A real munafiq is not a Muslim. Outwardly he looks like Muslim, but inwardly he's not a Muslim. So we can't start labeling Muslims as a hypocrite, a munafiq. This is something wrong in Islam to do. Only Allah knows who they are, but some people have traits of hypocrisy. So in the book number 42, pay attention, he said there's two traits, or two categories. Hypocrisy in beliefs, and hypocrisies in deeds and actions. Beliefs mean they don't believe in Islam correctly. They hate Islam, but outwardly they're Muslim. Their deeds and their actions, what they do, they hate Islam. Right? This is another form of hypocrisy. So these are the things that the Muslim needs to know. Question 43. What is the hypocrisy in beliefs? Answer. Hypocrisy and nifaq in beliefs are 6 types. This is very important for a Muslim. This will be on the test for sure. Because every Muslim needs to know, because if he doesn't need to do these things. The first one is denial of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So nifaq, the person outwardly who say he's Muslim, وَفِي ظَاهِرٍ هُوَ Muslim, وَفِي بَاطِنٍ هُوَ الْكَافِرِ. Outwardly he is Muslim, but inwardly he is a disbeliever. So what are the signs? So you can look and judge yourself, do you have nifaq? So the first one is denial of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The one who claims to be Muslim, he denial. This book is written for Muslims. This book is not written for non-Muslims. This book is talking to Muslims. The one denial of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Number two, denial of the thing with which the Messenger is sent. Denying with the revelation, the message, the risala. As the Messenger of Allah, Baliga risala, he sent the message of Islam is complete. So to deny it, to say I don't like this from Islam, I don't like this from the Quran, I don't like this from Hadith, I don't want to practice this is a part of nifaq, hypocrisy. 3, hating Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is a part of hypocrisy, to hate the messenger. Hating the thing with which the messenger is sent, anything that came from the revelations. That was number 4. Number 5, rejoicing at the disgrace of Islam. If something had bad to the Islam and the Muslims who are being upon the Quran and the Sunnah, from the enemies fighting, or the enemies beating them, or the enemies oppressing them, or the enemies killing them, or the enemies fighting them, or the enemies having treaties against them, or the enemies conquering over them, rejoicing at these type of things. This is nifaq. 6, disliking Islam to prevail over other religions. Don't want Islam to be the law of the land. A Muslim has, he has nifaq. Nifaq. We have many Muslims that have these characteristics. Hate Islam, but outwardly they're Muslim. But inwardly, they are the enemies of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So know this will be on the test. Question 44. What is the hypocrisy in deeds and actions? What is nifaq in deeds and actions? Now these are something different now. The traits of nifaq, traits. It doesn't mean you are a hypocrite. It doesn't mean you are munafiq, but there are some traits. And if you have them, you should rid yourself of these traits, okay? One is, when he speaks, he lies. And this is coming from our hadith. When he speaks, every time he speaks, he's lying. Ya Abdullah, you hear that one? Every time he speaks, he's lying. Every time he speaks, he's lying. So those people who are always lying, jokingly, watch what you say about lying. Jokingly, you need to listen. Jokingly lying, always lying. Shh, always lying all the time. Lying. Jokingly. Always lying. When he speaks, every time he opens his mouth, he's lying. If you have this trait, a Muslim have this trait, he must remove it from himself. 2, very important, it's related to amana, the trust. If he promised something, he breaks it. When he promised to do something, or make a promise or oath, or something like this, he breaks it. He gives his word, then he breaks it. Every time he gives his word, he breaks it. A sign of nifaq. This is one of the traits. One of the traits of nifaq. Number 3, very important. When he is entrusted, he betrays. When you entrust him with something to do, he betray you, turn his back on you, forsake you. 4, very important. Many Muslims have this trait right here, number 4. When he disputes, when he gets in an argument, he acts immoral. he has bad manners, cursing, screaming,